At Indie Booksource, you can shop by genre or by author, and you will be buying direct from the author's main purchase link. We offer hundreds of titles in formats that include ebooks, paperback, hardbound, and audiobook. Support an indie author. Visit indiebooksource.com today.
Welcome to Meet the Author, where you can join in on insightful conversations with best-selling and award-winning indie published authors. Your hosts today are Rob and Joan, who themselves are indie published authors, book publicists, and paranormal investigators with Tampa Bay Spirits, based in Tampa Bay, Florida. Thanks for dropping by. And now, on with the show.
Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Joan. We're glad that you're here, whether you're here in the audience live or you're listening to a podcast. We're really glad that you chose to listen to this show. We have some really fun authors for you, and we can't wait to introduce them.
Wherever you're watching, you may not see the other people's comments, but we'll see them. So go ahead and comment, especially everybody on LinkedIn. You won't see any comments of anybody there. So feel free to comment.
And those of you on LinkedIn, go ahead and comment, please, because, we want to hear what you have to say. And we will see them whether anybody else does or not.
That's right. So let's see what we got here.
Hello,
hey, Paul.
We're so glad to see
hi,
you.
CW.
Yeah,
we saw you earlier, and then all of our platforms decided they would say hello to you. Okay, what do we got coming up? Event coming up next week, next Wednesday, April 6th. Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles reveal the first 3 authors in a 9-author anthology set in Magnolia Bluff, Texas, a quaint little town that's make-believe. C.W. Hawes, Caleb Pirtle, and Cindy Davis will be our guests that evening and telling you all about their portions of this reveal. It's going to be fun. So you'd make sure you tune in. We'll remind you again at the end.
CW says, yeah.
There's Joe.
And Joe Conjal says,
hey, Joe.
Howdy, Rob and Joan. Howdy. Marjorie Deering.
Marjorie.
Hello, it's good to see you too. CW says, Magnolia Bluff.
Oh no, I didn't mean that. It's real. Okay, well, our next guests are the writing team of BREAKFIELD and BURKEY. And without much ado, we're going to bring them on in. How about that?
Charles and Rox.
Charles and Rox. Come on in.
Hey there.
Hey, gang.
How are you doing?
Oh my gosh, we're having fun already. I love the introduction that you guys do. That's great.
Yeah. You never know.
Never know. It just happens.
Thank you.
Well, we're glad that CW is there to heckle us, so that's a good thing. Okay.
I know.
Hey, Trish.
Trish Pipkin says hello.
Trish is on the other side of the camera tonight.
Yes, Trish was the one who co-hosted the show with me a while back.
That's right.
Gail England says hello. Hello,
Hello, Gail.
Glad
Welcome.
to have you on. George Desmug says, here I am, all strapped in.
Oh, good. We wouldn't
God
want you to fall out.
Bless you, George.
Yeah.
I certainly hope you're feeling better. He had norovirus.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He and Nadine
not
both
good.
did. So, ooh.
And yeah, they both had it. CW says, hi, Rox and Charles. Paul Hollis says, hello. And Trish Pipkin says, haha, yes, she was the one on camera with me.
I remember that show. It was great.
Thank you. It was stressful for me.
My future replacement for me. So, Rox, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started writing?
Oh my gosh. So once upon a time, long, long ago.
In a galaxy far,
You don't
far
want to go back that far, probably, do you?
In a galaxy right here.
In a galaxy. So I'm a technologist by profession. So I work in the tech field. I've worked for several different manufacturers, and actually started writing white papers as a part of my master's program. I had to pay for school. That's the only way to do it. So wrote some white papers, and that was really fun doing that. And then I had to get a real job. And so I decided that I would work for a company called Nortel. And as it turned out, Charles also worked for the company Nortel in a different area. So that was kind of an interesting thing. And we ended up doing workshops together. So we did a lot of training and workshops for different people on technology that was, bleeding edge at the time. If you look back on it now, it seems like prehistoric times, but
Yeah.
technology changes really fast. You may have noticed that. So, but we started writing workshops, and then we wrote technical manuals. Now, if you want something that's almost better than eating chalk, writing technical manuals is right up there with that.
Chalk is good.
Yeah, exactly. It was better than that. But we wrote some technical, nonfiction books on technology, but they were dated by the moment they were published. They were dated. So Charles said, "I don't want to write with you anymore."
I got my marbles and I stomped off. I said, "I'm out of here. Okay, I'm not doing this anymore."
Oh my!
So then she coaxed me back. She goes, "Okay, all right, new deal. What if, just what if, we whack some people that ticked us off over the years, and that's not easy. That's fairly easy to do in the high tech world because everything's so stressful." And I said, "Go on, then tell me more about this whacking people we don't like." And so she spun it with this terrific approach of like, let's have some technical stuff we can bake in that's true, but the characters are fiction. And so that kind of set the pace for the first book, and all the rest that follows.
Well, that's so interesting. I was
Yeah.
going to ask you how you got started, and you told me already. We do have a few comments. George says that I died and reincarnated as a train wreck. I had a reunion with my third wife. It was a nightmare.
Oh, bless your heart, George.
Her name was Deborah, and he does not like her.
Apparently.
Yeah. And
we could put her in the book if you want, and we could whack her. I mean, if that's really what you want.
He would love that.
He would love that.
He would love
Sure.
that.
We hadn't thought of that. Monetizing somebody else's demise. This is cool. I mean,
Deborah. Her name is Deborah.
We need somebody to eliminate it because we can do this. We can do this.
Make sure it's slow and painful.
I gotcha.
Trish says she can't replace Rob because she has too much hair.
Ooh.
And she also said stepping on Legos is better, I think, and she's referring back to the eating chalk.
Eating chalk, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
Only if it's the middle of the night and they're the little itty bitty Legos.
yeah. No fun. No fun.
Awful. I didn't let our kids have them, so I was a mean mother. My grandkids, however, have
Oh, they have
thousands.
got tons of them. Yeah, no problem there. We bought them for them.
Oh my goodness. Let's go to your first book. So which one was your first book?
The Enigma Factor. And so seriously, when I started this and convinced him he wanted to write, I had a few chapters of this one written, and I did convince him by saying, we could write fiction, we could do everything he had just mentioned, but we can kill people. It's the only thing you can do to kill people and never go to jail. I like it.
I like it too. And I like the cover. The cover has the title, and then it has the blue background and ones and zeros, and just the one eye and 2 awards.
So yeah, those are Amazon International #1. That was kind of fun to do. And that's Jacob. That character on the front of that is Jacob Michaels. He's our hero in the art group, and he's getting more and more attention all the time.
That's awesome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what the show is about? The book is about? Like
Well,
it's
what happens is that we start off the book at a very fast pace, and he is thrust into the cauldron. There are a lot of emotional upheaval, and what happens is he drifts into the crosshairs of apparently two cyber groups that are interested in his talent set, and he doesn't quite know who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. And so, to prove a point to him, he thinks he's, fairly well versed in security. He works in the security field, and so it was an easy play for us to be able to paint for him. Only he gets his identity erased, and now he's like, I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I could protect myself. These people, whichever these people are, have taught me I know very little, and so it's an awakening in the cyber world, and we get to explore what it's like to think that you know everything. Like you're a teenager. Let's use that analogy, and you don't know squat.
Right.
You got people that are handing you your head on a platter and saying, "You want to do it again?"
Yeah, no, thanks. I won't. I'll pass. Paul Hollis says, excellent cover.
Thank you. It was created by our cover designer, Rebecca Finkel. She is absolutely amazing. We adore her.
She does all your
the
covers?
shout out.
She does most of our covers, yes.
Most
We're
of them, okay.
actually getting some of them a second edition, and she'll replace them. So,
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
the branding, the ones and zeros you mentioned before is kind of going to be our branding trait going forward.
It makes sense considering that it's all high tech. So
Right.
Joe Conchel says, I'm with you there. Very satisfying to kill off a character in a book, especially if it's someone based on someone you really don't like.
Now you have to understand there's a problem with this model. After a while, we've whacked a whole bunch of different folks, and it's like, wow, what do we do next? And
Right.
we were on a talk show with Channel 8, one of the hostess there, and I got cutting up with her, and she's like, well, so what do you guys do? I mean, how do you get your ideas? Where do these evil characters come from? And I said, well, we're actually looking for a new evil femme fatale. Do you have a resume, madam? And you could hear the technicians in the background laughing. I mean,
I bet.
and we need references too. But then they start howling, and she's like, she started turning red on the camera and saying, "Okay, let's wind this up." So we shop sometimes our good guys, and we ask for people like, "Hey, who wants to be the reluctant hero? Or who wants to be the the evil femme fatale?" And we've gotten some surprising volunteers. I'll put it that way. Look here in the covers, with very little guidance from them, and kind of letting our imagination craft an interesting story for them.
That's great. CW says there's 7 billion people, plenty of choices for bad guys.
Exactly. And all you have to do is look at the headlines, CW. I'm 100% with you.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes it seems like there's 6 billion bad people. You never know.
It only takes one rotten apple. You know that.
That's true.
Does anyone need an evil dictator type? I think we have one.
I think most people are pretty decent.
I do too. And he's doing bad things to very decent people. Don't like him. And I do mean Putin. All right.
Yes, there is not a nice person. Oh, there you go.
So here's the second. Is this the second one in the Enigma series?
No, this
Number
is
10.
book number 10.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Right
Well,
over.
let's do book number 10.
Fine, because this is a swell story.
That's right, because we don't have all of them. That's
So,
right.
everybody's familiar with cryptocurrency. So you actually pull one up that's like ripping the headlines, right down onto our cover. So
Right.
cryptocurrency is a real activity. When we wrote this book 3 years ago?
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago, it hadn't quite received the traction that it does right now. But it's based on something that's very real. People have made fortunes and they have lost their, shoes. playing with cryptocurrency.
Right, right.
And the Plancho's always gone first. That's right.
And everything in between.
Yeah.
Well, let me describe the cover. It has a cryptocurrency coin on there, and then there's a man holding his hand.
Is that the hero?
Not really.
No, he's a bad guy. No.
He's a bad guy. Okay.
And all this cryptocurrency is coming up out of his hand.
Yeah.
A
really
lot of people don't understand cryptocurrency, and it's because it's like a digital pretend thing, and so some of it never sees the coinage kind of thing, but that's what people like. People like having texture to their money.
Into their books, a lot of people.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
We just had a cryptocurrency house sold here in Florida, one of the first of its kind.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Real estate transaction.
Yep, did real good too. Sold really well. Whoops, wait a minute. I meant to show that. Trish Pipkin says Florida has a lot of good candidates for people
For bad
in your book.
guys, yeah.
The heroes or the bad guys?
The bad guys.
Bad
she
guys.
meant. Ann Cross says, kill off a character of people you know. I do it all the time. And the beauty is I will not be arrested and charged.
There you go.
That's a very good point.
There you go.
Yeah. We have yet to do that. We should.
I recommend it. It's such a catharsis.
Yeah.
I usually bake bread and knead it and beat them to death.
So how many books do you have in the Enigma series right now?
So right now we have 12 books in the actual thriller series itself.
Okay.
And
Right,
there
'cause
is
we only have 4 of the covers here.
right. And there's a prequel that we just released last year called Out of Poland. And unfortunately it's kind of on the same road as to what's happening right now.
Here's
sad.
Out of Poland.
Out of Poland is a novella. And it actually takes place in 1939, and the heroes in this story have a chance to found the R group. So that's why it's a prequel, but it's really a historical fiction as opposed to a thriller like the rest of the books.
Yeah. Now the R group is our fictional good guy group set in today's time that they're the team that you want on your side when your identity's been erased, or you're trying to figure out how to be able to stop a cryptocurrency thug, or a computer virus that is hammering your infrastructure in Brazil. So these are the good guys, and the Out of Poland is because we had somebody actually said, where did these guys come from? And so it begins with the theft of the German Enigma machine that's used for encryption, their battle plans.
Right.
And they have to read the book now to find out the rest of the story.
Okay. Putting on the brakes.
I was not giving away, I promise. I can do stuff okay.
Let me see. George Dismuke says, oh, well, this is funny. Trish had said, will you be writing about NFTs? So
that's really interesting. We just did a workshop about NFTs not that long ago for a big author group. And so, yes, we do to a degree. It's really kind of a boring subject matter. However, it's a very interesting venue for authors to consider in different ways of doing dynamic writing and visualization. So,
yeah, we actually took cryptocurrency and NFTs as subtext and tools that go into a larger project called the Metaverse, and that's a full hour course that we taught. We actually have a couple of people saying, "Hey, can you deliver it to my group?" So we're trying to package that up to be able to cover all the attributes to it. Basically, it looks like this future of storytelling.
It's certainly possible that way. And the blockchain ledger is a very interesting concept because it is pretty, let's say rugged would be a good term. It's very hard to break into it and change it.
Not impossible, just hard.
Nothing's impossible. I would never use that word.
That's true.
for sure. George Desmukes asks, how do you decide which one of you writes which part?
That is a really good question.
We actually have a patent pending technique called literary ping pong. And what we do is we bat stories back or chapters back and forth, characters back and forth until they're polished and honed the way that we think they fit the story, and the story evolves the way that we believe it will be enjoyed the best.
Great.
So we just play with it. We each end up creating something and having the other person modify it. So
yeah, that's the way we write.
Yeah.
That's exactly how we write. Ping pong was a good analogy.
Right.
If it was up to him, everybody, including the women, would always be drinking a martini and eating a steak and having a baked potato and nothing else and a big dessert. And I said, you want her to keep looking good, she's got to eat a salad every once in a while. So Joe Conjal says, I love asking this question. Are you guys pantsers, or do you plot out the whole story ahead of time?
Oh, pantsers. We actually keep a spreadsheet and we revise it all along the way to try and get to the end that we want. So much more pantser.
Yeah. Trish Pickman says, I read a father whose daughter was married on video is trying to make that info into, I think she means an NFT, so he can get it off the internet. It made me think of it having some fiction potential. That's...
it's interesting. Nothing ever is removed from the internet, and people think that that's possible, but it's not. It's living in some data lake somewhere.
But yeah, if you want to monetize something, there's somebody there's actually whole exchanges, like 6 or 7 of them. The one that cracks me up is the board yacht monkeys, I think is the way that they call themselves. And all they do is transact stuff, NFTs for sports memorabilia, commercials, tennis shoes. It's like it's almost like you're watching an alien form running around exchanging bitcoins or tokens for real products, or even digital products that are frankly you can't eat. So
right.
It's an amazing time.
Well, Trish revised that. She said she read about a father whose daughter was murdered.
Oh dear.
On video.
Oh no.
And he's trying to get that. God bless him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Somebody.
Boy, my heart goes out to him. What a horrible thing to find out.
Right.
Yeah, and to constantly see it, run into it all the time. Not good. That's
unfortunately all the social medias we have, has this share capability, and you share it and you reshare it and you reshare it and you reshare it, and it's very. Even if you find the source and you get rid of the original source, it's been shared and recopied so many times you can't get rid of it.
Yeah, you can't track that all down.
It's like a virus.
Yeah, it is like a virus.
Hello, bring on ransomware.
It's like COVID, the COVID of social media.
Right.
Gail England said, great info. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Keep some questions coming. We're good with that. We like questions.
Yeah.
And ideas. Different points of view are fabulous.
And it's good for all of us non-technical people to hear all about the stuff that we don't understand. There's the Wayback Machine too.
I've always liked the Wayback Machine.
Way back when?
No, it's another one.
All right.
And Trish, what is the name of that group that you like so much that actually does go after all of these people that do wicked things on video? I know there's a name for them and I can't remember. If anybody else knows, they go after and try to right wrongs on the internet.
Well, there's all kinds of vigilante groups. We call them digital lynch mobs. And they go after groups of people that they figure have wronged somebody, but there's always somebody looking at it saying, no, this isn't the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
So it's we've postulated that there's the rise of the digital bounty hunters and the digital mercenaries, people you pay to be able to go find this kind of poisonous stuff. The ones that are really ugly are where they do deep fake technology and put
Yeah, that's bad.
and and basically ruin you politically or socially with bogus stuff that looks like you did it. Those are the kind of people that are like, yeah, I'd spend money for a digital mercenary. Go find these people and make sure they don't walk for 6 months.
So the thing that reminds me of is if anybody watched the Mandalorian and then the next one, the book of Boba Fett,
yeah.
and you see Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, that's what deep fake looks like. You would swear that was the young Mark Hamill.
Yeah, that they took an old film clip or something.
And it isn't. It's that same technology as the deep fake stuff. It looks real.
Yeah, we even use some of the deep fake technology in on book 12, The Enigma Threat, where it was actually used to a good purpose. Well, you'd have to read the book to be able to make that joke. I'll let it go.
Trish says there are different Twitter people. One is RX or Sis. She has a PhD in pharmacology. They spend their free time doing that. And then CW said the Wayback Machine is a lifesaver.
Oh, glad it's not a stick of gum.
George says,
Ba-dum-bum.
oh dear. So George says, so one computer or two monitors with a shared screen.
Oh, is that for our writing, George? Is that what he was asking?
Yeah.
So we live in totally different households. So we definitely have 2 screens and we bat files back and forth.
Like ping pong.
Like ping pong, exactly. But we keep track of things on, spreadsheets and that sort of thing. So
you would have to, yeah.
Definitely different machines, and we have backup drives to make sure that things are kept very secure. And
yeah, if you want to talk about an anxiety attack, that'll send us both into orbit. Version control. If we lose a handle on version control, I send something. It's like, where's this?
Oh, I know, right?
And it's like, what version you want? Ah!
I thought I saved that. No, you didn't.
Exactly.
Ellen said you're talking about deep fakes. Yes, that is exactly what we're talking about, and that is eerie stuff. It is. It's terrible.
It's eerie and it's real. People think it's just pretend. That's the problem we have when we first released the first couple of books, is people kept saying it was science fiction. Like totally not real, totally not even possible. But being technologists,
I know, it's really funny, isn't
so
it?
Funny.
I have to tell you what she's laughing at, those that are listening to the podcast. George Desmukes just said, oh, so you're partners. I thought you were quote unquote partners.
With a capital P.
As in living together, partners.
No, we're just writing together kind of thing. And we have worked together and done workshops and stuff, but no. But the technology that we have is real in the books. Now we twist the story, and that's quote unquote fiction. And we make it a little more entertaining than reading a tech manual, because that's right back with the chalk part.
Yeah.
That's good. Trish Pipkin said no.
For us is when we had we were doing book number 10, and we had postulated Venezuela was going to need to go to a cryptocurrency denominated economy because they trashed their entire economy.
Right.
It was like we were doing that in January of that year. I think it was 2019 or so. By March, they announced exactly that's what they were doing. They were going to do their own cryptocurrency in their economy. And so we're like, we're not writing fast enough. I mean, here we are predicting the future, and good grief, it happened before we had a chance to publish this.
Well, it happened as we published it, but it was very interesting because we kind of see where some of the technology is going and how people will adopt it. Technology used to be done for businesses, and that flipped on its ear when individuals started demanding what they wanted from technology and what they would pay for. And then all of the development shifted to a degree to fulfill the individual. So
Trish said, no, deep fakes are very real. It makes many actors nervous, as it should. Yeah, because they're being deep faked all the time.
Yeah.
Well, and politicians.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody in the celebrity stat or is in the public eye, they get.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
CW.
actually use deep fakes in the latest book in the series. We have a situation with that.
Good. Maybe enlighten some people about what they are and how you can't believe what you see. CW Hawes says, with the direction all this tech is going, I think I'm going to found the new Luddite Society. You're going to be a Luddite, are you? Joe Conchel says, I think I work with the deep fake. Oh, wait, he's got a deep fake personality. My mistake.
Oh, Joe.
And Gail England said, I know, I just saw a video on this. She's referring back to the deep fake.
Right.
Which, yes.
Okay.
I get that.
Everybody hold your comments. We're going to take a couple of deep fake. No, these are real commercials. These are good commercials. They're not fake. I'm just joking.
A word from our sponsor.
A word from our sponsors. And we'll come back in just a few minutes. Okay. And we'll carry on this conversation.
Yes.
Bye.
Many secrets are hidden within the darkness of the jungle. Behold, this one about a man, a woman, a black jaguar, and an ancient Maya legend. Two Faces of the Jaguar is a novel by George Dismukes that will take you deep into the jungle and capture your imagination until the last word. Two Faces of the Jaguar is book one of a trilogy. Two Faces of the Jaguar, where only the adventurous dare to read.
Two Faces of the Jaguar, The Lost City, and The Jaguar's Quest are available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites. Two Faces of the Jaguar, the book people are talking about. Get your copy today.
Dear Lord, she's still alive.
Who's still alive?
Maris, that's who.
Come on, Angie, that's impossible.
Impossible or not, she's still alive, I tell you. She killed that boatload of people, and she's just getting started. There's no limit to what she will do.
It's not easy to kill a siren. It takes a formula and a plan. Siren Song 2 is the spellbinding sequel to Siren Song. Both novels by George Dismukes.
Siren Song 2 will be on bookshelves and bookseller websites in July. Don't miss it.
People who like to read want to get their hands on books by Becca Jones.
Becca Jones, the breakthrough author who tells it like it is. It takes courage to tell a story when it reveals dark secrets. Becca Jones delves deep into the hidden world of sexual abuse. She tells what happened and also tells how she survived.
Meant to Be is much more than just entertaining. Meant to Be gives you a point of reference, hope to cling to, and becomes a guide for survival if you have suffered the same thing. Meant to Be, Becca Jones, a must-have.
Meant to Be is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and many other bookseller websites.
Hey, we're
Welcome
back.
back.
And here we have it. Meant to Be, Becca L. Jones. Get your copy. She's had it on sale, I think, for the ebook this last week, and I'm not sure how much longer that's going to be. But she sent us this copy, and
She
we want to
just sent
thank her
us
for
the
that.
copy. Yeah. Thanks.
Kind of came out of the blue there.
All right. Do you want to do the book giveaway now?
Might as well, right? Let's get it rolling.
So the book giveaway is really interesting this week, people, because it's going to be the first 3 people that enter are going to win 3 ebook copies of their choice of short stories. And we'll put up some of the covers in a minute here.
That is the address to email right there, because it's kind of hard to read in the banner on the ticker.
It's authors@enigmaseries.com. And for those of you who are just listening, the email is authors, AUTHORS, at enigma, ENIGMA, series, SERIES.
.com.
.com. All right.
Okay.
So you want to tell them.
Leave that one up.
Yep. You want to tell them what the ticker is saying?
Well, the ticker says exactly the same thing
that I just said.
Yes. The first 3 people to email authors@enigmaseries.com will win 3 ebook copies of their choice of short stories from the short stories collection.
Mm-hmm.
And we will talk about those right now so they'll know what they have to choose from. There it is right there.
So here are some of the covers of some of their short stories. Love's Enigma, The Jewel, Nowhere But Up, Out of Poland, which we already showed you that. Hot Chocolate, Destiny Dreamer, Remember the Future, and Riddled Codes.
Yeah, so there's a good choice there.
You want to talk about your short stories at all?
There's one that's not there that we want to add in and make sure somebody can at least hear it, and that's Hidden Target.
Hidden Target?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That is the newest one, and so that is one of the ones that they could ask for as well.
Okay. So get cracking. So you have written novels. You have written a series. You have written 2 series? How many series?
No, just one series.
Just one. All right. 1 series, short stories.
One long series.
That's a never-ending series at this point.
Well, that's good, though. I'm
it's
sure
like an
that
enigma.
your readers are really happy.
Well, we hope so. That's what we hope.
Yeah.
That's what I really like, is when I find an author that I like, I like to be able to keep going,
Yeah. Well, we all do, right?
Sure.
We're all disappointed when it ends.
Each book has a technology focus. Like we mentioned earlier, the very first book is really focused on identity theft. So there's little hidden lessons in there, too, about things that people should think about, just everyday people. But because technology is always innovating and new things are coming out, I don't think we're ever going to run out of subject matter to write about.
Yeah, we get new threats all the time. We tear apart stuff. It's like, oh, look at this. Gamification was one that was like, here's another attack vector. Artificial intelligence. That's the book 11 and 12 where we really dive into that. And I had a couple of people say, "This is terrifying, Charles. How do we stop this?" And each book is written so they can be enjoyed by themselves, but they are richer in the series. But we try to make sure that if we only get you for one book, you're going to enjoy it. I promise you.
I remember Elon Musk said one time, "We've already created AI." He said, "We're feeding these computers so much information. It's already out there. It's already happening." And I'm like,
yeah.
And then robocallers and all that kind of stuff,
No. Somebody that's already got a brand new company in 2016 that it's dedicated to implanting chips into the human brain.
Yes.
Dude, I admire your electric vehicle stuff, but I'm not signing up for that computer chip in my head.
No, I know. He's already done it on monkeys or apes, hasn't he?
Yeah, the chimpanzee, yeah.
A chimpanzee, yeah.
Yeah.
So George says, "Forgive me, got to go lay back on the sofa, still pretty weak. Enjoyed meeting Breakfield and Berkey." Good night, George.
Good night, George. Take it easy.
Better.
Heal up.
Have we And we had a chance to talk to you about our newest project well, we talked about it briefly last time we visited, but
Yeah.
that the
Magnolia Bluff.
Magnolia Bluff.
right, sorry.
That's the one.
Wait, let me put up this one comment. Trish
Okay.
is saying, waiting for Skynet to come online. And C.W. Hawes said, in the Dune universe, Al was outlawed. Let's
Yeah.
hear it for AI.
AI was up.
I was outlawed. Let's hear it for Spice. No, let's not hear it for Spice.
No.
But anyway, yes, Magnolia Bluff. All right. I love this concept.
Fascinating.
I
idea.
love this concept for so many reasons. Go ahead. You guys tell us about Magnolia Bluff.
So we got started with we basically got together the lead renegade, Caleb Pirtle, said, rounded up a bunch of us and said, guys, what do you think about writing a story using this graphic? And he puts this boat in our hands, and it was a challenge. We had a great time with it. We put together this book, and then we published it as an anthology. And then I believe it was CW that said, "Hey, I've seen this concept before. It's all these vignettes, all these different stories are focused on a single town. What if we all took this single town, Magnolia Bluff, and wrote a story about it in our own particular genre, using our creative license, and we share the environment collectively." And it sounded like that's such a good idea that we had so much fun. We're borrowing characters. We're, hey, can I borrow this one? No, you can't use that one, Charles. We're going to whack that one. Oh, okay, wow. Yeah. So it's turned into an excellent exercise. Roxanne, you want to talk about that?
No, it's a really fun concept. And you had mentioned it earlier when we first started, and you mentioned CW. There's 9 authors that are kind of signed up to put together stories. Magnolia Bluff is in Texas, and it has its own small town quaintness to it, and murder, lots of murder.
Yeah, we had trouble focusing on. Okay, you can't use that one. Rats, I got to start over again.
But everyone does get to write in their own genre, and I've actually read CW's, which is coming out soon. And honestly, we can't wait for it. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
And it's going to kick off not only talking about the series, but also allowing the different authors to bring in their own flavor. And I think in a couple of weeks, you guys are actually going to have a chat with the first 3 authors for the first 3 books.
Next week.
Next Wednesday.
Because
CW's book is coming out first.
So we'll have CW, Caleb, and Cindy Davis.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And they're all fabulous authors. So, it's like
they are.
And in July we'll have another event that'll be reveal number 2, and it's James Collin or Kalen. Kalen.
James Cullum.
Yeah,
Colin, I can't read it.
They'll all be together.
Yes, I know. Roxanne Charles and Richard Schwint.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And then in October, Linda Pirtle, Kelly Marshall, and Jinx Schwartz. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have all of those. That's the whole magnificent 9.
It's so much fun. I understand that there's been some exchanges, and I've seen a few of them go by, that they actually want to do a round 2 if it kicks off nicely and gets really popular. So another fun thing to do.
Well, we haven't started scheduling for next year yet, so you're all set.
Okay, we'll get on board early.
I think it's great. I mean, and I've said this before, but one of the reasons why I think it's really great is that all of us has our own perspective of everything, right?
Yep.
We all see things in our own way. And the way I would talk about my neighborhood would be different than the person down the street talked about the very same neighborhood,
Right.
Seeing it from different perspective.
Right.
So now you have 9 different authors.
In their own styles.
In their own styles, co-authors, 9 authors and a set of co-authors that are looking at it from their perspective, and all of their characters have their perspective.
That's
And
right.
then you multiply that by 9 people. And I think it's great, because you're going to see some of the characters, as you were just saying, are going to be characters in common.
Right.
And they will be seen in a slightly different light, just like I will interact with different people differently than you would interact with them. And I think it's brilliant. I think and since it's a small town, you're getting a really well-rounded version of that town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I'm excited about it.
I mean, it's a very exciting kind of concept. And, we found a lot of, we were looking for people that had done that. And we found a lot that were in the historical romance and the general romance series that had done that, with multiple authors doing this. So we think this is a little bit unique. And, CW would be the cheerleader or the leader of the idea, in that it's going to be very different to have it be mystery and, crimes and thrillers are essentially what we're doing. So it's really different.
More like real life.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Crime and mystery. And thrillers. Joe Conjal says, I am really looking forward to the Magnolia Bluff series. What a great concept. It is. It's a great concept. I agree. Yeah. I thought Caleb said one of the authors is writing like paranormal, has a paranormal aspect to their story. Yeah. Joe Control says CW is a wonderful storyteller. Yes, he is. Yes, he is indeed. That's going to be fun. We like paranormal stuff.
Yes, we do.
That is your forte. So I can't wait to see your review on that one.
Yeah, it is. We do the for real stuff.
I know.
As a matter of fact, while we were waiting for the show this evening, we had a few extra minutes. We were working on some of our evidence that we had from our investigation Saturday night. So
takes a long
that's
time.
The boring part, is sitting and watching the videos.
CW said Cindy. I didn't know Cindy was doing the paranormal part, but
Cindy is.
That makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
And then CW said, thanks, Joe, to Joe Conjal. But yeah, we did an investigation on Saturday, and we're now doing the fun part of paranormal investigation. Hours of
footwork,
tapes, and hours of looking at different cameras.
4-hour investigation with 5, 6, 7 cameras.
Wow.
Digital recorders.
Multiple digital recorders.
Okay. What you need to do is you need to use some artificial intelligence and some supercomputers that we have built in our back room to be able
to
and overlay and look for the subtleties, and let that cook for you, so you don't have to do it yourself.
That's a good job. A great idea.
Good idea.
I'm sorry, was I advocating of supercomputers and AI intelligence? Oh.
So where did you actually do this?
At a person's home who has been having actually a lot of difficulty with an entity. It's been disturbing for her. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we went and couldn't get any evidence about him at all. Mm-hmm. We might still find some, but so far nothing. I did hear something at one time when she had made a remark, and I heard something, and that got on the recorder. So we have that, but it wasn't a word or anything. It was more like a whimper. And but then the interesting thing was that when we were getting ready to close down for the night, all of a sudden we had a lot of activity, and
helpers getting moving the stuff out. Is that
were you able to capture it, or was all the equipment already off?
No, the equipment was still on, and we were just about to break down for the night. And then all of a sudden, all of the instruments that had been quiet all night, all of a sudden went bonkers. And Rob and I like to do this thing where you have a flashlight, a little mag light actually, that you can turn on and off by the front. Instead of a push, you just turn the front of it. And so then we just bring it to where it's almost on but not on, and then the entity can turn it on. Well, apparently our flashlights are getting old, and the entity was having trouble turning the lights on. But the flashlight was rolling like crazy. They were pushing it as they were trying to. So the flashlight, we watched that go back and forth for a while by itself. And then finally it went on. And so the first thing I said is, are you male? And they responded no. And then I said, are you a woman? And it came on for a yes. And the girl that we were there to help said, oh my gosh, she told us about a relative that had recently passed. Unexpectedly in her 40s. And so I asked if she was that woman. I don't want to say the name because that's, that's personal business of theirs. And she responded yes. And the girl said, if this is really you, show us how many children you have by turning the lights on and off. And she indicated she had 4 children, and she had 4 children. And
wow.
And it went on from there, but
we're digressing.
Yeah, we are.
This is about you guys, not us.
No, but it's and that's part of the fun of talking with authors and meeting with authors, and the value of being, you guys doing this show is you can always learn from somebody else. And it's fascinating what people will do to create their books or the research that they go through. It's just remarkable.
Yeah, we need to write a paranormal book. That's for sure.
We do.
We started a paranormal series, but we need to write one that's more about
documenting.
Yeah, the real stuff. Because it's lots of hours of nothing.
There's a lot of that. I mean, it's the same way in technology. Reading technical manuals is lots of hours of, yawn time.
I've been in computer rooms, like at 9 o'clock at night, and we're waiting for the backups to finish, and we amuse ourselves by saying, okay, get the chairs in here, and let's see who can go around this block of servers the fastest, and we time each other, and we have lots of fun, just being stupid, and every once in a while the people that the cleanup crews come in and go see us running around in berserk. They go, we'll come back later.
They look dangerous.
Yeah.
Did we talk about hot chocolate?
No, you didn't talk about hot chocolate.
No, I'm thirsty.
What is it about?
Hot chocolate was a very interesting short story. And so it is one of the short stories that was up before. And it actually is 2 of our really good characters, Petra and Jacob. And what happens to them after they finally resolve their personal issues and decide to be a family. And they have a son, and it is the melding of European Christmas traditions with New York Christmas traditions, because Jacob comes from New York and Petra comes from Europe. And so it's kind of fun and lighthearted and kind of surprising.
We've got a question. Trish would like to know, since you're both into technology, is there any person who you would like to meet, like Tesla or Edison or someone else?
Honestly, yeah. I'd like to meet Winston Churchill. There is a man that he wasn't a technologist, except that he would paint, he could write, he was a statesman, he was a nobody's fool, and dare I say it, even a partial comedian. Some of the best quotes I've ever heard are from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, people quote him all the time.
Yeah, that one exchange where he's, it's that Bernard Shaw's. He goes, Winston, dude, my opening night is tonight. I'm inviting you. Bring a friend if you have one. Churchill comes back and he goes, impossible to make tonight. We'll come second night if you have one.
Trish Vivkin said, good choice. He's a very interesting person.
How about you, Rox?
I really kind of would like to meet Leonardo da Vinci, because I think he designed a lot of things, a lot of foundation of things that he was so far ahead of his time. in many, many ways. I think he would be fascinating to just sit and chat with.
Isn't that true? I mean, the submarine, you know, underwater, deep water diving gear, helicopter.
Looking up for the stars. I mean, everything was just such a visionary. You just wonder, who was that little angel sitting on his shoulder telling him stuff,
Yeah, right.
Is that the alien that came to town and just kind of chit-chatted?
Is he the one that did Okra?
No.
Some people would say that.
Some people would say that. Oh, Trish Pipkin said, I would like to talk to Jules Verne for the same reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 20,000 Leagues is such a great story.
Amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing.
And Journey to the Center of the Earth and going to the moon. I mean, he had his people going all over the place. What a great author. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? We need to get out all of your all of the places.
How to find you.
Yes. And let me put this back on. So here's a website. So listen up, people, because there are lots of websites. enigmaseries.com.
And that's the main book series. There's lots of samples out there. There's free stuff. There's some free white papers on security and stuff like that.
Awesome. Cool. Free stuff on enigmaseries.com, and maybe even hints about what's to come. roxburkey.com.
That's where I do book reviews and author interviews and some just interesting interviews with people and blog tours.
In medium.com/@enigmaseries.
Right.
Okay. In Twitter, one BURKEY or @enigmaseries. That's 2 Twitter accounts there. One BURKEY or @enigmaseries. Right? Wait a minute. We're getting down into Facebooks now. Facebook is roxanne.burkey.50 or the Enigma series. Those are 2 different Facebook accounts.
Right.
In LinkedIn, you can find either one of them you can find Roxanne at Roxanne Burkey or Charles Brakefield. You can find it Charles Brakefield.
And that's more of our professional career, of course, but we've been known to talk about books.
Yeah, there are authors on LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh,
We've got some here tonight.
There you go.
Enigma Book Series on Instagram. And then you can find them on YouTube, and you just have to do the search for Enigma Book Series on YouTube, and you will come up with their YouTube channel, and they've got some great videos on
all
there.
Sorts of fun ones.
Mm-hmm. And here's another email, rox@roxburkey.com. I don't know if I've ever spelt your name out, but it's ROXBURKEY.
Right.
And then we have authors@enigmaseries.com. Woo, we got it all in, people. I'm
Thank
surprised.
you. That was wonderful.
Thank you, John. There's some of them, even I don't know those.
Well, we're technologists. We really don't care for social media.
It's evident. Yeah.
It's hacked all the time,
Yeah.
I know.
That's for sure.
Joe Conjal said, I think Da Vinci time traveled back to that time from the future. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
Good idea.
He was a time traveler. And Donnie Finch says, nice. Okay, there's another, and I believe Susan Kite. Oh, wait a minute. Susan, I just lost your comment. Here we go. Susan Kite said, I think Da Vinci was the subject of several authors. Oh, yes, he was.
Boy, that's for sure.
Yep. He was even in the Star Trek series. They used him a lot. They'd always bring him up in the holograms and talk to him and bounce ideas off of him on all the different series from that show. All right. Now, let me find. Did we put up Destiny Dreamer?
I don't think so.
Okay, Destiny Dreamer's good because it has Charles's motorcycles on the front.
He does like riding motorcycles.
I know.
Yeah, and what you can't see is the police car pulling him over.
Oh, I'm sure you obey the law when you drive your motorcycle.
Okay, that's going to be quiet for a couple minutes.
Crickets.
He's turning red too.
I can't comment on that. I'll take the fifth on that one.
There you go.
And what is Destiny Dreamer about?
Destiny Dreamer is about two boys that grow up in Ireland, and they have a lot of chores that they do to be able to afford those motorcycles, and and the journey that they take is a journey that changes their lives.
That's awesome. It'd be sweet to travel around Ireland.
It's interesting because a lot of the short stories that we wrote are really backstories to the series. So, the characters that are in there are often appear in the books themselves. And this is a backstory about how they were, young or what they did. And the jewel that you just flashed up a second ago.
Here it is, the jewel.
Yeah, that's about Otto and Hattie and some troubles that they overcame after the war.
So that's really cool because then you can understand, maybe there's even foreshadowing. Now, CW said, that's a great idea. Oh, traveling across Ireland on a motorcycle?
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
That is a great idea.
Yeah, don't forget your reindeer, though.
Yeah. I don't think I want to. I used to ride on a motorcycle.
We could bicycle.
But yeah, I would bicycle now.
If they flatten it out a little bit.
Because if I ever fell now, they wouldn't be able to put me back together.
Uh-oh.
You know how it is.
Very well.
Once you get osteoporosis, folks, motorcycles are out. All right. Okay, I think we went through all of the books that we had covers for. We did the jewel, yep.
Yeah, I think we got them.
Oh my gosh. C.W. Hawes says, great idea. Oh, thank you, yeah. CW. He explained what he meant by that's a great idea. It's a great idea using short stories to fill in for a series. Yeah, and to give you the backstories.
Right.
Okay. You live in Florida. What do you mean flatten it out?
I was talking about Ireland. You'd have to flatten out Ireland for us to be able to bicycle because we live in Florida and everything is so flat here now. We're used to this. Not a big challenge.
We actually,
we do bike.
We do bike like 12 miles a day. So it's not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's our exercise. I mean, we don't lift weights or go to the gym, but we sure do bicycle. But we love to bicycle. But whenever we go out of state, we're like, oh, I remember hills.
Yeah. I got a good friend that's in Ireland, and he likes to practice bicycling. Get this, in the Pyrenees mountains.
Oh my gosh!
No,
this guy's a mutant. I mean, he talks about the number of calories you have to be able to do that, and the teams he works with, and then I was like, I'm good at my 25 miles, and that's that's.
I had some friends that did that in the Alps, but that was back in college.
They were college.
They were
age.
Young,
yeah. Yeah.
Younger folks.
Yeah.
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 Oh well.
It's a shame we can't continue to do what we did when we were young, isn't it?
Boy, that's for sure.
I have a basket I have touring handles on my bike, and I have a basket because our dog goes with us everywhere.
Oh, nice.
And so she's in this basket made for dogs, so it's sort of like the beginning of
is this Toto too?
Oz. Da-na-na-na-na. Yes, that makes me the Wicked Witch, which is a bad ending. But that's what I always feel like. But as we're riding, I hear people all the time saying, oh, that's a dog in there. Or puppy. They say a puppy. But
do you guys talk a lot when you do your riding? Does it give you a chance to just chit chat too, or
when we're riding our bikes?
Oh
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, we talk the whole way. It's hard to shut me up. Our whole family talks incessantly. You should sit at our dining room table. We have a son-in-law who was an only child, and we've told you we have 6 children, and they're all married. And when he first came he married our youngest daughter, so all the others were married, and we'd have Sunday dinner here at our house all the time. Well, not in this house, in our big house before we retired. And Trish Pifkin says, yes, we do talk incessantly. And
have a big family.
And have a big family.
Both.
And so we'd be sitting at the table and everybody would be talking, and they'd be talking about the latest movies. They'd be talking about graphic novels. They'd be talking about
all at the same time,
Marvel Universe and all different kinds of things. And he would think of something to say, and we would have moved on to the next subject. And then he would think of something to say, and we would have moved on to the next subject. And so when we were just with him and his wife alone, he said, I want to talk. I want to say something. But then he explained how it was. And we all turned and looked at him, my daughter and Rob and I, and said, you just need to jump in. Just jump in and say it very loudly. And then they'll listen. And that's what he started to do. And so now he's right in there with all of them. Same thing happened with Trisha's husband, Brad. He has one sibling. And when he came into the family, he had to learn to just jump in and participate too. But a funny thing with that other son-in-law is that we were at the zoo one time. And our family is very sarcastic. We are always teasing each other.
You're kidding.
Yeah. And we were looking at something. I don't remember what it was, but we were looking at some kind of animal. And here, Trish Pifkin says, poor Adam, haha, he's such a good guy. He is such a good guy. And Trish also said, Brad was so overwhelmed. Yeah, we are overwhelming. And Marjorie Deering said, shell shock. Exactly, shell shock. Okay, so this was Adam. And like I said, we're very sarcastic all the time, teasing each other, sarcasm, dry humor. And we were at the zoo and we were looking at something, and I don't remember what, but this Scottish lady standing right in front of us, we were all walking like in a line, and she said, oh, look, they're huge. And Adam goes, they're huge. And we all look at Adam like, oh my God. And we kind of backed away from him. Like we didn't know who he was. And our daughter, who's married to him, said, what is wrong with you? Why did you imitate that woman? He said, you do it to each other all the time. And she said, each other. And he said, well, that was your mother. And she said, my mother was some lady from Scotland. She said, when has my mother ever said huge?
So she's back in Scotland now, probably telling people how rude
Americans are.
How they made
I didn't realize there was rules for sarcasm. I'm astonished.
Well, now you do.
Well, when you're making fun of someone, you better be sure they can take it. That's all.
Make sure you're talking to about the right person.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great. We are kind of winding down here a little bit. I want to ask each one of you, and I don't care which one goes first, what advice would you have for a wannabe writer, somebody who is just trying to get out there but hasn't really got any momentum yet and needs to get their confidence?
I'd say start with short stories. That's a good discipline. It sounds easy, but it's not. And if you look at there's a whole plethora of organizations that will take short stories, not much money or even free, and you can compete and start looking at getting yourself graded. And the best advice is what I got from a screenwriter. It's like, okay, you write it, you rewrite it again, put it aside, pick it back up, and rewrite it one more time.
Very good.
You're going to learn every time you tackle it, and and go back and pick up the old ones that you started with, and you'll see what progress you've made.
That's right.
And that's the discipline. Try to getting a short story into 1,500 words. That was the hardest task. We stumbled on it. Like, Okay, let's write this novel. Okay, the novels are actually, they're easy because you just continue to write until you're done. Short story, like you got 1,500 words or 2,000 words or whatever, and buddy, ma'am, you better be hitting the mark on that.
Right,
And
right.
that's because they won't give you any extra words. Make it count.
There you go.
That's very good advice. Rox?
I think it's more along the lines of just write. I think that a lot of people get afraid. If you want to write in a book, because that's how you are comfortable putting your words down and you want to do it longhand, or you want to do it on a computer, just start. And set a little bit of discipline to yourself. Maybe you're a morning person, maybe you're creative, you get up, you have a dream that you had, and you want to commit it to paper. I find that different people are comfortable writing at certain times of the day. Find your niche and kind of stick to it for a while until you decide, this is pretty good.
Carve out the time and say that's important, it's worthwhile. I don't have to do anything else during this time.
Right.
That's right. That's right. And I personally am I'm a morning writer. After 6 o'clock at night, I've had all the work and all the fun and all the writing I can have for the day, and I just want to veg out, or have fun conversations with people. I don't want to have to write necessarily, but that's me. Everybody's got their own thing.
Right. Right.
So Susan Kite says, great advice. Trish Pipkins said, I love that advice. Thank you both. This was a great show, and I truly enjoyed getting to know you both.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Trish.
And Cindy Finkelstein says, great advice. It is good advice. Both.
It is. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. Both.
Both.
And it was
really good advice.
Somewhat different than some of the advices we've heard already. So it's good to have different advices.
Well, that's the value of knowing so many great authors. Everybody's got an opinion. You're going to learn it. You're going to learn a little nugget of something from every conversation.
Yep, that's right.
And really, authors really like helping other authors. And so get on Twitter and start following authors and tweeting to them. And if they don't have bots doing their Twitter, they'll answer you or find them on any of their other social media and talk to them and ask them questions. I've never known any of them to not want to help you. They all do want to help you and point you in the right direction. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you for taking your time tonight to visit with us and sharing all of your wonderful writing. And I'm sure everyone will be really happy to, if they haven't already read some of your work, to jump into that, especially the 12-book series. That sounds really great.
Yeah, I look forward to getting some new readers. The big books are also available in Audible. So for people that would rather listen, that's an option as well.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Terrence Crimmins said, fascinating interdisciplinary writing techniques.
LinkedIn, thank you for joining us from LinkedIn.
Yes, and making a comment. And Joe Conjal said, super show. Thank you, Rob, Joan, and Breakfield and Berkey. And Paul Hollis said, another excellent show again. Thank you, Rox, Charles, Joan, and Rob. And thank you guys in the audience. Thank you for listening, because what would be the point of the four of us just chatting if we weren't listening? Well, we would have a fine time chatting. We have always had, we have a good time anyways when we talk. But yeah, it'd be silly to put it out there. So the audience, you make the show, and your comments, we love your comments. We love your questions. And I know for sure that they would love for you to follow them on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment there. And CW said, thanks all. Thanks, CW, for tuning in.
And we're going to move you guys over. Let's see.
Thank you very much, Joan and
Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll meet you backstage there. So just hang in there.
Okay.
And let's see.
Well, I wanted to tell people I do have something to say this
Perfect.
time.
Yay.
I never do at the end of the show. I do today. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube.
Yes.
It's Meet the Author Podcast. Do that search and you will find it.
Right.
And subscribe, like, and comment always
And share it
on
out
this
there,
show, on YouTube.
especially if you liked it. Share it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they'll like it.
They will. I
Yeah.
think so. I like it.
I do.
Okay, coming
Go
up
ahead.
Saturday. Episode Rewind is episode 18 this week, on April 2nd, believe it or not, April 2nd. Cheryl Payton and Carrie Ellen Stone. It was a really good episode, I thought.
Yeah.
And
Two really great authors.
be sure to tune in. Just watch right where you're at right now. You can just be there at 5:30 Eastern time. And then next week, of course, we've already talked about it twice. Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles Reveal, right here on April 6th, right where you're at right now. So anything else that you can think of?
No.
All right, then I guess that until next time,
That's all, folks.
bye.
Good night.
Thank you for joining us here on Meet the Author. Make sure you stay up to date with our show by clicking like, follow, and share. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and more. See you next time on WLFE-DB.com.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.